Have you ever found yourself caught in a spiral of misunderstanding? A relationship fraying at the edges? A chasm growing wider with each passing day? Perhaps it's with a loved one, a family member, or even a colleague. The ache of disconnection, the frustration of unmet expectations, and the silent suffering of a bruised heart are universal human experiences. We yearn for harmony, for understanding, for the profound healing that comes from true connection, yet often find ourselves trapped in cycles of resentment and unresolved conflict. How do we break free? How do we cultivate an unconditional compassion that not only repairs what is broken, but also fosters a love so robust it becomes almost unbreakable? Today, we journey into an ancient wisdom, a profound Islamic method known as Ihsan, a path that promises to transform not just your relationships with others, but the very landscape of your inner world. Ihsan, often translated as excellence, perfection, or doing what is beautiful, is a cornerstone of Islamic spirituality, yet its practical applications extend far beyond religious observance. It represents the highest level of faith and human conduct, urging believers to act as if they see God, and if they cannot see Him, then to know that He sees them. This concept, profound in its theological implication, is equally revolutionary in its psychological and relational power. To live with Ihsan means to approach every interaction, every duty, every moment with an unwavering commitment to beauty, sincerity, and profound awareness. It is this elevated state of being that holds the key to cultivating genuine compassion and mending the most fractured of human bonds. Historically, the concept of Ihsan was articulated by the Prophet Muhammad himself in what is known as the Hadith of Gabriel. When asked by the angel Gabriel to define Ihsan, the Prophet replied, "It is to worship God as though you see Him. And if you do not see Him, then know that He sees you." This seemingly simple statement carries immense weight. It is an invitation to conscious living, to infuse every action with a sense of divine presence and accountability. Early Islamic scholars and mystics, particularly the Sufis, delved deep into the practical implications of Ihsan. They understood that this state of spiritual excellence was not merely about ritual, but about character, about internalizing virtues like mercy, empathy, patience, and forgiveness. They recognized that true compassion stems from an inner purity and a profound connection to the divine, which then naturally overflows into our interactions with creation. So, how does one practically embark on this path of Ihsan to heal relationships and cultivate compassion? It begins with a fundamental shift in perception, moving from a self-centric view to a God-centric or universal-centric view of all beings. The first step is what can be described as radical empathy. This is not merely understanding someone's pain intellectually, but actively striving to feel it. The teachings of Ihsan compel us to consider the other person's perspective as if it were our own, recognizing that their struggles, their flaws, their reactions often stem from their own unique histories, pains, and aspirations. Imagine standing in their shoes, carrying their burdens, facing their fears. This deliberate act of imaginative identification dissolves the walls of judgment and creates a bridge of understanding. Building upon radical empathy is the practice of unconditional forgiveness. Often, when relationships are strained, forgiveness feels impossible, conditional, or even undeserved by the other party. However, Ihsan teaches that forgiveness is primarily for your own spiritual health and for the beauty of your soul. Holding on to grudges, resentment, and bitterness poisons the heart. Unconditional forgiveness in the context of Ihsan means releasing the expectation that the other person must apologize or change for you to find peace. It is an internal act of liberation, allowing you to move forward with a purified heart, free from the shackles of past hurts. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather choosing not to carry the burden of its emotional residue. It is a profound act of self-love that simultaneously extends grace to others. Next, the path of Ihsan calls for intentional benevolence. This means actively seeking to do good, to offer kindness, and to extend generosity, even when it is not reciprocated or expected. Think of it as proactive compassion. This could manifest as a kind word, a supportive gesture, offering help, or simply listening without interruption or judgment. The beauty of intentional benevolence lies in its purity of intention. It is done for the sake of goodness itself, for the sake of beautifying the interaction, not for praise or reward. When we act with Ihsan, our benevolence becomes a radiant force, capable of thawing frozen hearts and softening rigid positions. It subtly shifts the energy of a relationship, inviting a reciprocal flow of goodwill. Another crucial aspect is patient steadfastness. Healing relationships is rarely an instantaneous process. It requires immense patience, resilience, and a steadfast commitment to the principles of Ihsan, even when faced with setbacks or renewed conflict. There will be moments of frustration, moments when old patterns reemerge, and moments when your efforts seem unappreciated. Patient steadfastness means understanding that genuine transformation takes time, like a seed slowly pushing through the soil. It means not giving up, but continuously returning to the wellspring of empathy, forgiveness, and benevolence, believing in the inherent goodness and potential for healing within every human connection. It requires a profound inner calm, a tranquil heart that refuses to be agitated by external storms. The cultivation of Ihsan is deeply intertwined with self-reflection and inner purification. Before we can extend profound compassion to others, we must first turn that same gaze inward. This involves honest self-assessment, acknowledging our own biases, our own contributions to conflict, and our own inner wounds that might be projecting onto our relationships. Practices like daily introspection, meditation, or prayer, where one contemplates their actions and intentions, become essential. By purifying our own hearts of envy, pride, anger, and fear, we create fertile ground for compassion to blossom effortlessly. As Rumi famously said, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself." This inner work is the true foundation of external harmony. Myself. This inner work is the true foundation of external harmony. The profound benefits of living with Ihsan are manifold. For the individual, it brings an unparalleled sense of inner peace and serenity. The burden of anger, resentment, and judgment is lifted, replaced by a spaciousness of heart and a quiet confidence. For relationships, Ihsan acts as a potent elixir. It fosters an environment of mutual respect, trust, and genuine affection. Broken bonds begin to mend as both parties feel seen, heard, and valued. Communication becomes more authentic, misunderstandings diminish, and the capacity for shared joy expands. Furthermore, cultivating Ihsan extends beyond individual relationships. It has the power to transform communities, fostering social cohesion and collective well-being.
Of course, embracing Ihsan is not without its challenges. It demands vigilance and consistent effort. In a world that often rewards quick reactions and aggressive self-assertion, the path of patient, benevolent compassion can feel counterintuitive. It might be mistaken for weakness or passivity. However, Ihsan is precisely the opposite. It is a path of immense strength, requiring profound courage to choose love over fear, understanding over judgment, and grace over grievance. It asks us to confront our own ego and our desire for control, surrendering instead to a higher purpose of beautifying existence. It is not about allowing oneself to be exploited, but about responding to injustice with wisdom and an unwavering commitment to restoring balance through noble means. In essence, the Islamic method of Ihsan offers a timeless blueprint for navigating the complexities of human relationships. It invites us to elevate our interactions to an art form, to infuse every moment with beauty, sincerity, and a deep awareness of the interconnectedness of all beings. By practicing radical empathy, unconditional forgiveness, intentional benevolence, and patient steadfastness, all rooted in profound self-reflection, we embark on a transformative journey. We move from mere coexistence to genuine connection, from fractured bonds to unbreakable ties, and from a world of conflict to one imbued with limitless, unconditional love. May we all strive to live with Ihsan, transforming our hearts, our homes, and our world one compassionate act at a time.